Hello and welcome to a Taylor's Tales podcast. This is Chris's Corner. I'm your host, Chris Taylor, and I'm back this week with a brand new episode, a brand new podcast. And I'm doing something very different this week, something I've not tried before. I'm going to be going into clips that I've gathered together. I'm going to be looking alongside them. So for those who are listening right now, these clips I'm going to try and describe as best I can. But I've basically done my normal Saturday morning workout of chest, back, biceps and abs. And I thought, why not share it? And why not discuss sort of what I'm looking at, how I can improve, what you guys can take from this. Just a general interest, because I find working out fascinating. For those who are not into fitness, who are not into bettering themselves, please leave now. Arrivederci. Right, now they're gone. Welcome, get back, guys, to those who are wanting to better themselves and looking to improve. I'm constantly, I saw some of my form in some of these clips already, and I'm like, oh God, I need to improve this, I need to improve that, and I'll talk about that as we're going along. So let's just jump right into it. Like I said, for those audio listeners, you can either switch over to YouTube, Taylor's Tales, from Spotify over to YouTube, or you can listen to me try and describe some of these clips as best as I can and get into some of the gritty details of this workout. Basically, the structure of my workout, I've vaguely talked about it before, but my workout on a Saturday tackles one half of my body. The other workout, which if this video does okay and people enjoy it, then I'll do the other workout, which is basically calves, quads, shoulders, triceps, and then abs again. I do abs 4 times a week across the 4 sort of weights-based workouts that I do, and then the other 3 days are based around cardio exercises and stretching. Don't ever forget stretching. Stretching is really important. So, first off, let's go through the structure. Just an overview of the workout that I would do on a Saturday morning. I love Saturday mornings because the day before I have consumed large amounts of sugar. My one day of the week where I consume sweets. If I'm totally honest with you, it's a little bit of a secret to getting a pump the next day for me. So if you're looking for that little bit of an edge where you want to look a little bit more vascular or a little bit more pumped up the next day when you're working out, or you want to feel that edge, I would recommend, for me personally, I have like a white chocolate I know this is quite a debatable sweet, but I love licorice all sorts. You either love them or hate them. I love them. I consume an entire bag of those and then some white chocolate. And obviously I've already got my protein in already throughout the day, and it's just, I eat that. I'm already in a calorie deficit because I make sure I get, like, for instance, I do a 50-minute run, which just burns the calories that I'm doing. Anyway, I'm on to another rant. The structure of the workout I do on a Saturday morning is, started off, I do push-ups, I do sit-ups, I do reverse crunches, I do a plank, and then followed by bicep curls, mountain dog pullovers, followed by chest flies and some resistant band rows, followed by floor press, and then normal bent over rows with dumbbells, and then followed by hammer curls and resistant bands curls. And that's I class that as like one set of exercises, and I do this 3 times. I do 20 reps for each of those exercises. Do that twice, so 40 reps for each of those body part exercises, and then 10 reps on the last set. And how it's broken up is, for instance, if I'm doing push-ups, it's using both arms, so I do 20. But if I'm doing bicep curls, I'm doing 20 on each arm. So depends on how you add things up. Personally, I just, like, if I'm doing singular, sort of, so that I can keep that equal sort of look across my body and not get any sort of impairments, I normally go for just equaling the amount of weight and amount of reps that I do. So let's get straight into it, and I'll dive into that a little bit as I go on. So we're starting with, and I'm going to play the clips now. What you're seeing on the screen, I'm looking at the same time. We're doing like the first set push-ups. So you can see, for me personally, I'm adjusting in the push-up so that I can be seen on camera at the time. I'm not too sure where it is, and I've never done this before filming wise for a workout, so it's kind of awkward when you are trying to get a workout in and you're filming. But you can see that my form in the first set is pretty good. It's not bad. I've got my 90-degree angle with my arms, and I'm trying my best to keep them without flaring as much as possible. And by the way, as I'm doing this showing progression. So of each exercise, you'll see first set, second set, third set. So this second set now, you're seeing me basically, I'm looking a little bit tired, I've done the first set and I've still got some good form, but by the second half of the push-ups, I'm looking a little bit, not all there, and the form sort of deteriorates, where you can see my lower back cave in a little bit, and you can start to see that I'm, the sort of like I'm looking a little bit tired. And then by the third round, the good thing about only 10 reps is that you can really focus in on your form. So you can see with me now, I'm like up, down, down, up, down, up. And it's like I'm super focused in, and I'm super like switched into the motion of going up and down. And with a push up, that's really important to have that motion, because you're getting the maximum amount out of your chest. Now, a lot of people, they criticize the push up, but I think the push up is a core exercise to, not actually core, but a core exercise to the chest. And for me personally, I love them. I personally have felt that my chest size has increased a lot since working out from home. So as this title of this video is called, No Gym, No Problem, I've actually made a lot of gains over the past year and a half, which is surprising, seeing as I haven't had access to a gym for that period of time. But the point of this video is showing you the exercises that I'm doing to increase my physique and then also maintain my physique at the same time. So moving on to sit-ups, I did, I've briefly gone over the push-up, but it's pretty basic there, is that when I get tired, basically my lower back caves in. So try not to do that, and try and push down and have what the form I've got in that final set, and not tiring out in the second set. So moving on to sit-ups, what you may notice with me when I'm doing a sit-up, right, is that I have my fingers always against my forehead. When I had a friend round recently, George Taylor, I told him to do this because it's making you make sure that you are maximizing the use of the core rather than just flipping in, flipping out, and using your lower back. It's really important to be able to get that done. And as you can see, it actually makes it a lot harder. So you can see on my face that sort of concentration to be able to try and connect with my core, to be able to really emphasize that push to get to my knees. And yeah, again, if I move on to set 2 here, it's kind of, a little bit, tires. Say set 2, set 3. At set 3, you're like, oh, I just want to get it done. For some of these exercises, I've realized that I haven't got all of the clips synchronously done, but nonetheless, it's important to talk it through. So sit-ups, like I say, a lot of people criticize the sit-up. Again, like, I don't know what it is about the fitness industry, but I think it's sort of cool to just take an exercise, and if it's a little bit boring, if it's been talked about, like the sit-up, like the press-up, then they're just like, we'll just put them aside. We'll do a more complex exercise. The amount of different ab-based movements I've seen on the internet that could just basically be replaced by a sit-up is actually insane. It's mental. Like side raises and all of these things, and like the amount of, you could just replace it with these three exercises that I'm talking through now. So sit up, reverse sit up, and plank. Three really simple exercises. If you master them, it's basically your core's done. And you may see from my physique, my abs are well defined. It's not like I'm, it's still flabby, sort of thing. I'm just, it's kind of like, why don't people just stay with the simple stuff, and go from there. Master the simple stuff. Anyway, moving on from sit-ups, you can see there, fingers against the forehead, really trying not to use the lower back too much, otherwise you are going to cause yourselves problems down the line. Then we got the old reverse sit-up, one of my favourites. I remember Mike Chang gave me this exercise, the original six-pack shortcuts back in the day. I think I was around 14 when I discovered the reverse sit-up. It's one of those great lower belly, sort of like, a lot of people say burn belly fat with this exercise. No, it's just targeting that area, it's pretty simple. I just have my hands behind my head and make sure that I'm bringing my knees to my chest and having my feet touch the floor without really having that bounce back. You don't want that bounce back. You don't want to get any momentum. You're just trying to use your core to be able to pull your legs to your chest. And actually, with this exercise, it's quite an easy one. It's a bit of an in-between exercise. So as you can see with each sort of set here, I'm not tiring out too much on this exercise, mainly because it's one of the easier ones. Now, onto my favourite, the plank. Not everyone's a big fan of the plank. The amount of memes I see on the internet talking about how 1 minute of a plank feels like a lifetime. How about 2 minutes? No, I do understand. It's a tough exercise, and it's one of those ones that truly puts you to the test. I love it for that reason, and you'll see in these clips now. For set one, I look pretty solid. I'm looking like throughout the entire. I'm pretty sure for this one I did 1 minute and 40 seconds. I didn't have a timer on me at the time. I probably should have, but both cameras were recording, so I was using my phone and my camera, and then my watch wasn't allowing me to use the timer on it for some reason at that period of time, so I overdid it a little bit. Which is probably why, if you see in set 2 here, that I look a little bit, by the end of it, a little bit shaky. Sometimes when I'm real tired, the plank can be devastating, and it can really feel a little bit tough on that lower back. Your abs go, and you're starting to like feel the wobble, the little shake. It's all right, it's fine. We all get it, and we all have to go through it. But the important thing here is having the ability to just get it done. I think a lot of people emphasize on continuous progression. It's not always the case. Some days you just want to get in, you do your plank. In my case, we do 3 planks. We get them done, crank them out, done. We're not going to be like next week I'm going to do like 4 planks, 5 planks, 6 planks. Some days you just want to get the amount you get in, and then maybe inch your way in to be able to do more. Like I said, in the first set, I was able to do 140. Second set, I was struggling with the minute. And then in the third set, I did 1 minute 10. It varies. Sometimes you're just like, I can go further, and you find recovery's a thing, and it's really good. I love the plank, and like I say, you can see with me personally when I'm pushing myself throughout these sets. By the time we get to the third set, I'm just trying to get through it, and I'm really just pushing myself to just get there. So, moving on to the bicep curl. We all know the bicep curl. It's one of those original exercises that we all learn as a kid. It's that muscle, the arm movement. And for me personally, as you'll see in these 3 sets, my mistake is that sometimes I swing. And I don't mean to. I really don't. When I tire out, you start to lose form. And so you can see in the first set, I'm really trying hard to have my arm, sometimes to help me from swinging, I have my other hand or other, yeah, on my chest to make sure that I'm just really trying to isolate the movement and not swing. What I do find is if I'm going heavy, I will allow myself to just fling the weight down sometimes, and that's not good. You don't want to do that. You want to minimize the amount of weight you're just letting flop down. And so I think I'm okay. Yeah, I had to use lighter weight. So what you'll see, for me personally, what I do advise to people if they are starting to swing, they go down a little bit in weight and really focus in on getting those reps out. Don't give up. What I have given advice before is try and break it down a little bit. For me personally, if one arm gets tired, I'll switch over to the other. And if both arms are tired, then I'll sort of reduce the amount of reps. So I'll do 5 on one arm, and then I'll switch over and do 5 on the other. Because if I've got 20 reps to do, I sort of like reduce those reps into 5 chunks so that's easier for me to do. And you'll see on the screen here, you know, I've got the barbell as well, where I've the barbell. I'm pretty sure that barbell is something like, you know, I think it's like 15 kg. Really light. It's really light stuff, but it's really good to just get those last few reps in, because the dumbbell themselves, the adjustable one, I set for 15 kg for, you know, a single arm, which for me personally can get a little bit tiresome after a while. I have to get the old barbell out to really just get that last bit in for the curl and try and maintain that form. And what you might see, I don't know if you can see when I'm doing it in my third set, you can see that it's actually activating my chest a little bit. Sometimes that can happen. When I'm doing singular curls, that can activate some of the outer edge of the chest. And that also, I mean, it's good to know that it works more. You know, you're doing a bicep curl, sometimes you can accidentally activate a different area of your body without really meaning to. So yeah, there's that. And we all know the bicep curl is pretty simple. I've gone through some, again, I'd like to really emphasize here that I am doing simplistic exercises. They've worked for me, and I'm pretty sure they'll work for you too. If you're looking to just get a workout in, you know, I'm not giving you crazy exercises here. Now, here's one that not everyone's heard of, right? We all know what a pullover is. We all know what a dumbbell pullover is. It's basically where you're sat on a bench and you have a dumbbell and you pull it over your head back and forth in order to engage the lats of the back. And when you don't have a pull-up bar in your house, or in my case, you don't, you know, want to destroy your parents' property with a pull-up bar by placing it in a doorway, by which, you know, those plastic ones that you see that are used in door frames do damage the outer bits of the door. You want to try and avoid that, for me personally. And then you don't have one outside or a standalone one, then you have to revert to using something that's going to really activate the lats. Well, the good thing is that Mountain Dog, or also known as John Meadows, RIP, actually came up with an exercise. I remember discovering John Meadows a long time ago, but this exercise that he shows, where it's just using dumbbells to access the lats, and you just do what I call the Mountain Dog Pullover, as you see on screen at the moment, where I'm singularly using a dumbbell and then supporting my wrist as I'm going down and pulling it back over. I'm trying to reduce the amount of use of triceps by not bending my arms. I'm trying to keep it straight, but if it's a little bit heavy, I think this is 17 kg in this case, so it's not too heavy, it's quite light, but it's good enough for me to, you know, engage the lats and try and avoid using the triceps. So by avoiding using the triceps in this case, we're actually activating two areas of the body part. We are trying to activate the lats, as I've said, engage the lats, but you can, when you're tired, accidentally activate the triceps, which, you know, we're trying to avoid, but at the same time, triceps want to get bigger always, and you're trying to use your triceps mainly in the floor press, which we do later on. This exercise is basically your, you know, singular arm taking a dumbbell, putting it behind your head, you're laying down on the floor and you're pulling it up and down, down to the floor without really trying to touch it, by engaging the lats and then pulling it back just above your head. And you're going back and forth, and you do that 20 times on each arm for the first set, 20 times on each arm on the second set, and then 10 times on each arm in the third set. And it's, you know, it's one of those exercises that's worked for me. My lats are getting bigger each day. But it is one of those exercises that I do think you can't replace the pull-up. The pull-up is the one exercise that I do think that I do miss the most. It's one that is probably where I'm lacking a little bit, and one that I hope to re-implement within my workout regime at some point. However, moving on. The chest fly. One of my absolute favourites. It is legendary. The chest fly has been used since Arnie's days. He utilised it using dumbbells. In this case I'm using resistance bands because I feel like I get a really good squeeze. I don't use dumbbells at the gym either. What I use is cable flies normally. And I was able to replicate the sort of same feeling. As you'll see here, I'm really trying to squeeze. I'm not going fast. I'm trying to not use any strength within my arms. I'm trying to just pull the chest together and activate the chest. And I'm not trying to activate anything within my biceps either. That's why I've got my palms open, because if you're gripping, you're actually using some forearm strength as well, and you can see I might need some of that when I'm really trying to push myself, I'm really trying to grip in, but otherwise I'm trying to not use forearm strength, and I am trying to do it with an open grip in order to activate the chest. And you'll see in my third set that I'm really, you can see the inner chest is really popping out, and that I'm really trying to get that inner chest going. There's not really an exercise for the inner chest. When you're using the chest fly, you are truly just activating the the sort of like whole chest rather than any specific area. You're not going upper or lower, you're just activating the chest. And it's super good exercise. You're not damaging anything. With the dumbbell you can go a little bit, you can damage a different part of your inner shoulder sometimes. I've seen videos online of people hurting themselves using dumbbell flies. I think it was Jeff Cavalier who doesn't do them. He does them on the floor because otherwise he's going to hurt himself. But it's a great exercise. I really get a good pump out of it, and you can see in my shoulders and in my arms when I am doing a chest fly, it's really showing the vascularity, and it's one of those very, what's the word, sort of really feel good exercises, I should say, pump exercises, but it's also excellent for your chest, so there's that. Yes, so moving on, we've got one of my favourites. This one actually, at the gym you can do using a cable, dumbbells, or a lot of things. I'm actually doing two of the same exercise almost here, where I'm doing a dumbbell row and then I'm doing a resistance band row. But with the resistance bands, I'm trying to isolate both sides of my back. You'll see where I'm doing singular rows with both arms. So I will do 10 on each side, and then I will do both arms together at the same time. And this is trying to just maximise the amount of, just sort of area in my back that I'm targeting, and not having any, non-equal areas on my back. So again, for the resistance band row, it can go a little bit light, so you're going to have to really concentrate on that contraction of the scapula and really try to squeeze that scapula, the shoulder blades together, so you can feel the contraction, you can feel the squeeze. By feeling the squeeze, you're really getting the most out of the exercise. And I'm not going to pretend like I know what I'm talking about. This is just what I've found works best for me when I'm doing a resistance band row, or any of these exercises for that matter. But when I am doing it, I do feel the best when I am really squeezing that upper back. So yeah, have I got anything else for the? So for those two exercises, again, you're not going to see me get too tired with the row, because in this case I'm trying to save some energy for the floor press and the dumbbell row, which are the two main exercises that are the heaviest out of all of these. So we'll move on to the floor press now. The floor press is just a standard chest press exercise that doesn't have as much movement when you're really pressing. You don't have that full range of motion when you're pressing, and that's a bit annoying when you don't have a bench and you are, but the best you can do is just floor press. And floor press does give you a little bit more ability to go heavier with the weight. I'm only using a 25 kg rock weight here for me personally, and it's really helping me emphasize on the importance of the motion. You'll see with me in my first and second set, and there's an importance on range of motion. You'll see me get tired and I'll have to put the weight down and pause for a minute, but that's good, you know. That's really getting me to not injure myself or not go too heavy in the weight, and progress slowly rather than progress too quickly and hurt myself. Floor press is fantastic for many reasons, but I think the main thing for me personally is security, and I do feel the activation in the chest, where it's moving the side of the chest that I'm hitting, and it's moving inwards, and you can feel that squeeze of the chest going in, which sometimes a lot of people think when they are doing the floor press they're not going to get that full activation because of the lack of range of motion. And in this case, I think you know, it depends on how you do it, but as you can see, for me personally, I'm just really trying to emphasize that sort of inner movement of the dumbbell, where I'm moving it without, you know, having too much of a right angle it's sort of the dumbbell going outwards and inwards. I'm trying to turn it almost inwards sometimes, and that gets a little bit more of a range of a little bit more of a definition within the chest. And I think some of my form starts to deteriorate in the second set because I'm tired and I haven't gone down in the weight. And by my third set, I'm just trying to get it out, and you may see my legs move a little bit, so I am, you know, using different parts of my body, so it's not, you know, it's not all there, but it again, it's a floor press. It is what it is. So, moving on to the dumbbell row. Now, this is probably my favourite exercise for the back. It's one of those ones where you can go, I used to go super heavy. I used to love getting a real heavy dumbbell and doing the dumbbell row. The only problem with that is that you can lose form, and you'll see the swing, you know, the old swing, pulling it back and just going, ooh, ooh. And you don't want to do that. You want to feel the contraction. Like I said, you're pulling the scapula in, you're really pulling the shoulder blades together, really getting that squeeze. And again, you'll hear me say that a lot when it comes down to the back. You want to get that squeeze. You want to be able to feel the definition coming in and really getting that contraction. And you'll see with me, I try and emphasize that when I am doing it, and it does take a lot out of me. It's a tiresome exercise, and you do have to pause, and you do have to take a breath and go again. And sometimes, like I say, you'll see in this, I break it down into 5. Sometimes I switch over to the other arm, and I will just pull it back in and really try and emphasize those and get those reps out. And I'm just having a look, have I got any? Yeah, I do have a little bit of bad form in that final set, where I am pulling that shoulder back a little bit, which I would advise you avoid doing in order to maintain a good form and not hurt yourself, because the last thing I want to do is injure my shoulder. Is there anything else within the... What's a good piece of advice you can give? Yeah, I do use my knee for support there, I could do just a normal bent over row where I'm bent literally with my face facing the floor and then pulling it back with one arm, but I do feel that with the support of the knee I get a little bit more ability to increase the range of motion and then also go a little bit heavier in the weight without, you know, feeling like I'm about to fall over and my face goes into the floor. And yeah, that's all I got for the back. I mean, like I say, the floor press and the dumbbell row are the two most important ones there. They're both 25 kg each. While for the next three or 4 months, I'm going to emphasise on increasing the weight for those, getting them up to around 32 kg each, and go from there. And try and by the time I actually get back into the gym in early of next year, I'll feel a little bit stronger and not feel like I'm about to pass out if I start picking up weights. So now you may see that there's actually 3 bicep movements just for bicep. It's because it's one of my lacking elements when I started working out from home, and even before that, back in like the early days of me working out and doing like bicep curls in 2018, my biceps have always been something that's lacking. I've been very lucky with my tricep. My tricep has grown much faster than my biceps, and I think it may be because of the amount of bicep curl, like sort of like bicep movements, and also the type of movements that I've been doing up until now. But this year has been a serious bicep growth for me. These exercises have truly helped me. And as you can see on the screen right now, I've got hammer curl. Hammer curls, again, you'll see, as I've said, form is really important, but as you get more tired with this exercise, and you'll see from multiple angles here, that I start to swing. Again, it's one of those things that you try to avoid, but you know, you have to do sometimes in order to get the reps out. Don't, you know, if you're in your first set, you shouldn't be. If you're swinging in your first set, you need to decrease the weight and in order to be able to maintain good form. Victory sip. So yeah, I think it's truly important, and you may see me swing inwards. It's just so that I hit a different part of the bicep there. So if I'm using the hammer curl to go outer part of the bicep, inner part of the bicep, I'm moving it in, I'm moving it out, and you'll see that I've actually decreased the weight. So I went from 15 kg down to 12.5 kg in order to get a sort of like better form, and then also increase the amount of reps I could get out of it. And I'm trying not to, if you see from the in the final set and from a different angle, I'm trying not to move all of my body. I am trying to isolate to the arms. I'm trying to maintain that sort of form. And you know what, to this day it's become really annoying for me personally, because the heavier you go, the harder that becomes. But it's still really important to maintain that ability to not swing that weight and to focus in on the bicep, because that's probably why my biceps weren't increasing, because I was just like going heavier, going with ego, and just trying to do the bicep curls, the skull crunches, all of the different arm movements, and trying to big up that ego and think I can go heavier and all of those things, and probably injure myself. This is probably why the resistance band curls we're going into now, that I didn't think about. I really didn't think that these would be a big winner for me. But even though they're really light, it's actually such a good movement and such a good exercise. I would recommend resistance bands curls to anyone, because I really feel that after you've done the hammer curl, you still want to focus in on really sort of like tearing up those arms, and to do that, just getting that lighter weight of the resistance bands and focusing on the range of motion and doing it on both arms and getting the reps out, it really helps. It makes you realise what part, you know, where you're hitting and what it's meant to feel like, and how much like control you have over that weight. So yeah. And you also, you'll see with when I'm doing resistance band curls, I will do them at the same time, I'll do them single arm, and I will do them in different directions to, again, really try and hit different parts of that bicep and really trying to increase the size and push that water into that muscle and get the pump. Sometimes sometimes you want to hit that, and yeah. So those, I know I've gone through those quite quickly, but those are all of the exercises that I do. Here's some final clips of the flex of the pump afterwards, where I've hit those final poses and what I feel like when you've got the rush of the workout in. But as you can see, for me personally, I'm feeling really good. I'm feeling like I'm in good shape at the moment, and all round feeling like these sort of workouts are pushing me. They make me sweat, they make me feel tired afterwards, and they make me feel like the food I eat is going to fuel me. I'm getting after it, and I hope that what I've gone through here in the past 30 minutes or so, I've gone through it quite quickly. I don't know loads about these exercises. Like, I've done them, I've found that they work, I have a basic understanding of how these exercises have improved my physique and how they have helped me stay in shape. And I know that stretching helps me stop getting injured, and I don't go too heavy so that I don't get injured again. But there's a certain amount of knowledge there that's, there's a little bit of ignorance, but there's also a lot of learning, and I love doing that, and I love doing it on my own. I love just figuring things out, without hurting myself. I think that's the main thing. And this is my workout that I do twice a week. I do it on a Tuesday and a Saturday, and then if you enjoy this, then maybe we'll do part 2, and we'll do the other side of the workout where I'm doing legs, shoulders, triceps, and abs, and hit that different part of the body. And as you may see, I'm hitting it twice a week, every week, and getting that cardio and stretching in as well. Maybe that'll be part 3. Who knows? But I hope you've enjoyed this week's episode of Taylor's Tales podcast. So this has been a Taylor's Tales podcast. This has been Chris's Corner. I'm your host, Chris Taylor, and as always, I'll see you this time next week.